Well, that certainly was a fun week playing Marvel vs. Capcom collection, especially working on beating each game with each character. I mean, it was easy to do with Punisher for Fury and Frank, but now another match to attend to before getting tickets to Moana and Sonic, and I very much appreciate if I stopped hearing discourse comments from the peanut gallery, so let's talk about one I will be feeding into. Pokémon Horizons Volume 4 was English dub streamed on Netflix about a week ago, and now that which contains the remainder of the Tropico Shine storyline, and as a lost from before, the next season starts next year, the search for Laqua or whatever. In many ways, a step forward from what they were doing in Departure Lico and Roy, but in others, it's a couple key steps back, so let's go over why. I have maintained before, or it isn't because the show is now led by different anchor beings. It isn't because of the changed story structure. I believe that my and others' hesitance to fully embrace this is the specific way they went about it. I still was hoping that they would have directly adapted the video games instead, especially someone who is among many who love those titles, and also who the characters within them. So the catalysts are right there for the story they're trying to tell. It's just when they get into other elements, like with the ways they attempt to remix parts of previous stories, or these new elements with the explorers and the rising volt tacklers, that they kind of lose me here. I mean, I've yet to formally begin Rayquaza Rising, but everything I've seen so far seems to be suggesting that they're going to be using it as an attempt to just wrap things up. I mean, I cannot say for certain if they're going to go forward with these leaked plot threads. I actually kind of hope they don't, if that's the case. I mean, but at the same time, it's also kind of surprising that they're this reluctant to engage in specifics about which continuity the show takes place in. It took the Terror Leak to even hint that it's in continuity with the previous season of the show. If they had been more forthcoming and with that from the beginning, I might be more open into investing in this. That being said, I still maintain that there are things I do like about it. I mean, the animation, especially on the battle scenes, whenever they occur, is quite good. And whenever they do commit to adapting source material, it does work. I'll admit. I mean, I may have had to reconfigure my approach to the full reviews of the sagas, and that's because of the issue with the claimant. That also applies to my remaining vlogs of the Journeys arc as well. Ever so slightly. But I definitely maintain that there would be few things that would be happier than to unconditionally enjoy the show again the way I do other parts of the franchise. It's just that with what I've been presented, I can't say I'm fully agree with the idea that it's the best adaptation in years. Personally, I don't think it's the best adaptation, not even the best adaptation to come out of the previous year, not with all these Poketoons shorts and the Pokemon Concierge stop motion show, which I'm really more interested in going to more places and more effective ways of doing that. I mean, there is one element in particular that I'm going to be using to count the Winter Solstice that I have issue with, and if you've been looking at my community tab or hear my thoughts elsewhere, you definitely know which one I'm talking about. And whatever they do for Generation 10 or even Legends EA, I certainly hope that they fully embrace adapting the video games, even if they're not gonna bring back you know who. I mean, let me put it this way: it would be like if I went to go see Sonic 3, and instead of actually dealing with Shadow's backstory, we they spent the entire movie in the Chow Garden Cafe. It'd be kind of like that. I am at least glad they're starting to listen to more of the concerns more, and whenever needed to, they modify the story accordingly. When and people like me weren't into the odd job subplot, they just cut it off and went on to not really mention it again, at least not on screen. When and a lot of people like me expressed disappointment with how they were pacing Explore storyline. I mean, they ended this season, and by shoving that to the background, and after both the Blade of Olivine and the Shiny Rayquaza got wrecked. So, and there's also elements with that I have mixed feelings towards as well. At least what I've seen reading summaries of Rayquaza Rising, but that can be talked about another time. After I address the Terrasol debut one early 2025. Anyway, that'll be all for now. I'll see you all again soon. Take care, everyone.